do. You are follow in my pattern.
Hello and welcome to the Ladies' Room. I have a wonderful guest who actually was on the show last week, and we got talking so fast about so many things that we didn't really get to what she actually does. Well, we did a little bit. Her name is Monika Zasada, and she is a curator of home construction. And she will take your project and take all of the worry, all of the horror, all of the anxiety, and all of the doubt out. So, Monika, welcome to the Ladies' Room again. It's so nice that you came back this week. Thank you. I know you're getting ready to go to Portugal for a big project.
That's right.
And that's really exciting. This guy, I think you told me when we were talking on the phone that you kept trying to talk him out of doing this and telling him, just buy something.
Yes.
And he was like, I can't get this dream out of my head.
That's exactly what I said. Yes, I mean, he is, it's in Portugal.
He's Australian?
He's British.
Oh, okay.
The project is in Portugal, and any project, Judy, is a very intense and complex thing, right? So I was just worried that he might not be able to handle that. But he decided to hire me, so I'm going to help him. And indeed, he had this dream because he had traveled the world, Judy, on his motorbike. Literally, he was everywhere. And I'll tell you just...
How old a person is he?
He's 74, I believe, now. And in his travels, this is just a little story that I must tell you. So he was, at some point, he was in Pakistan. And he drove on his motorbike into this little village. It's totally dark, and he's concerned about his safety. So he went to a police station, and he said, listen, where can I find a safe place to spend the night? And the guy said, the only safe place is jail. So he spent a night in jail. He just rolled his motorbike into a cell, and this is where he spent the night. So he is a guy with a lot of energy and faith. Thank you. That's very important as well. So even though I fervently was trying to talk him out of such an undertaking in a foreign country without any preparation really, and I was trying to talk him into just using the money that he would be spending on building this compound,
right?
Because he wants an Australian compound. He fell in love.
Single story, different buildings.
Correct. So
his main house, and then a guest house, and
pool house, and a pool and a spa. So that's a big undertaking.
You're going to have someone like working at the spa all the time, or just have massage therapists come in?
No, spa. I mean like
hot jacuzzi.
Jacuzzi. Sorry, yes, it's called spa. It's sometimes referred to as spa. So I thought to him, why don't you use the money that you would be spending, and that's a lot of money, and just rent a luxurious apartment and just live it up and enjoy. And he was like, you know what? I think that's a good idea. And then 2 months later, he said, you know what? I cannot find anything nice to rent.
He actually did look.
He did look. And he said, I need you. So I'm going to help him.
And how are the two of you going to handle the language difference with all the contractors and everything?
Well, we have pre-vetted a few people, and they do speak English.
Oh, good.
And I also, what I do, part of what I do as a curator is I help the client assemble the correct team for them. And what does it mean? I believe that there is a lot of chemistry that's needed between a client, contractor, and an architect, because these are two essential professionals that you need for a big project. For small project, maybe you don't, but for a big project like that, big renovation.
Well, building a house from the ground up, especially.
Yes.
My goodness.
And renovation too. Renovations tend to be pretty complicated, and additions, you definitely need an architect and a contractor, right? Addition as well. So they have been pre-vetted. I prepare questions, and then it really needs to be, like I said, the chemistry, because you are going to spend 12 months together or 18 months.
You have to be a working team.
Correct.
And happy with each other, not competing against each other or undercutting each other or doing something behind somebody's back or cutting corners.
which is exactly what
You don't-
usually
and the
takes
client
place.
has no idea
Mhm.
if they're cutting corners.
Mhm.
They price something out, and you don't get the quality that you're paying for, and you have no idea.
You have no idea, or sometimes as a client, you are actually in the midst of, screaming
fighting.
between contractor and an architect. But that's because normally how they are sourced is through competitive bidding, which is a nonsensical thing because it's based on for pricing plans, which
Right.
are very rudimentary. They don't give enough information. So after weeks and weeks of this pointless exercise, you are arriving at some amount, and which is usually it's all over the place. So you don't
And it
get.
never winds up being that amount.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, that's exactly what happens. So I am all for choosing the correct architect and correct contractor. What do I mean by that? So for instance, Judy, if you are the person who has very well developed design proclivities, you know exactly what you want. You wouldn't work very well with an architect who has an established brand, who will be pushing
His style.
his side,
on you.
right? But for which he or she is known,
Right.
right? But you might want to just you might need a person who is more in the role of a draftsman, and I don't want to belittle the role of an architect here at all.
Right.
So this is part of choosing the correct architect for you, right? The same with the contractor. Especially we women like to talk about emotions. Building our home or renovating is an emotional
Huge.
endeavor.
It's huge.
I hear all the time from women, right? So you do want to have a contractor who is going to have patience to deal with your emotions as well, right? So, so going back to the Australian compound,
Well, okay, yeah.
we have pre-selected an architect and a contractor. They both speak English. And now I'm going to go there and just help the client finalize the design because he got a very general quote thus far, but we really don't know what's included. And what is very, very, very important, as you pointed out yourself, priceless, I believe you said. It's invaluable or priceless, you said. The ability to control your money. And how you do that, Judy, is by plugging in all the numbers, all the costs of your project into 16 construction categories.
Okay.
This way, and each of these categories, there are 16 categories, and each of them have, they have
I would have no clue
subcategories.
about that.
You
I
wouldn't.
don't think any normal person would have any clue about 16 things that you need to nail down
That's right.
before you begin.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, they're moving parts. It'll change, but still to have them all nailed down and who's going to do what.
Yeah, so as an example, number 9 category is finishes, and we can even point out finishes here in this room. So the finishes is, for instance, stone on
Okay.
your countertops, right? Finishes is also tile, so the tile here on the backsplash, things like that, okay? So these are finishes. But anyway, a big project, Judy, can have hundreds of line items.
Yes.
And now imagine how fantastic of a tool it is, because you know where every
Well,
single
I think
penny
it'd
is
be
going to.
fantastic also to go around, like I went to pick out tiles for a bathroom, and if I had you with me, if I had a girlfriend with me or a professional, it would have been so much more fun because I didn't know from those tiles, and they, some of them were so expensive, and I don't know. I could have used you.
It's
but
good
that's
to-
a long time ago.
It's good to have a trusted advisor,
Yeah.
just someone, because people tend to be very hesitant before they make their mind. So usually I just give an honest
And the
opinion.
prices vary so wildly.
They
You know,
do. They
there's
do.
subway tile, and then there's those beautiful glass tiles that look like aquamarine, like you're in the Caribbean or something. You know.
Yes, it's all about, and it's also what I also encourage the clients to do is really your home should be the reflection of you,
you.
right?
Yeah.
You. So I feel that home is sort of the place of free expression, rather than the place of good impression, because so many times we are trying to assume, what is expected of us, right, to make this good impression, and we forget about freely expressing ourselves in our home, which is
Isn't
sad.
it interesting how different people's homes are? Of course, every snowflake is different, so it's like hello. But it's so interesting when I worked in real estate, that was my favorite part, seeing the interiors of the different houses. And every home has the feeling of the people,
It's
and
very
it should
unique.
be that way.
Absolutely. So
Yeah,
yeah, free
you don't
expression.
want some sterile cookie cutter thing, which is kind of what happens out here. They stamp out these big houses, and they're on little pieces of property. The house takes up most of the property, and they're kind of cookie cutter, really. But then the interiors can, reflect the owner, the final owner.
Yes.
But
That is very
so you worked with a major construction company for more than 20 years. What challenges did you find along the way that maybe you had to overcome, or things that were maybe hard to learn? What was the process that got you to where you have the confidence to run a major project, to be like a showrunner?
Well, I was lucky enough to be entrusted, right,
Yeah.
with the roles in this company. So I literally started with answering the phone as a receptionist.
Okay,
And
first
day
day on
job.
the job.
And
okay.
I remember this day I asked Greg, I said, what should I do? Because I am a very procedurized person. So like I was thinking, what is my job description? And he just said, be a sponge.
A sponge.
A sponge.
Okay, so you
So-
were.
So that's what I was. That's what I was throughout all these years, and it was, and I am all for procedures, right? So I was just observing what is the procedure, like what is the chain of command, who calls whom, what comes first, what comes next, what comes as the last thing, right? So that was very valuable. So I have gone through literally being a receptionist to being a bookkeeper. I was doing taxes. I would never be able to do it now anymore, Judy.
And you wouldn't want to. That's really dry
That's
work.
dry. Then I was an assistant project manager, then project manager, and I
you
became
were a
vice
project manager.
president. Yeah, and then I left when
Became vice president, and you left.
I left because I met my husband on eHarmony, and we left for Panama to do his project. So the challenges were, well, I am a woman. I want things done a certain way, and I spoke
want
with an
respect.
accent. And I spoke with an accent. So
Yeah.
Greg would say to me, like, we would be playing bad cop, good cop. Like I would get the plans, and then I would circulate the plans amongst the trades, because this was the this is a general contracting company. So we would just
Put it out.
put it out
Yeah.
for pricing, for plumbing, electric, all these 16 categories, right? To make sure that nothing is forgotten in the budget, so that there are no whoops moments later on. And then I would literally, circulate the plans, and I would call the next day to follow up and say, please confirm the receipt of the plans, and I expect the pricing back within 5 days. Here is the breakdown. And Greg would think, like, who's this woman? He would hear, who is this woman, that is asking these questions? And he's like, I know, she's intense, right? I know. So it would be good cop, bad cop. So was it a challenge? I guess a little bit, because it was unexpected. It is a very male-dominated industry.
Oh, sure.
So I would say,
Oh,
know.
sure.
So that was it. That was the challenge, But
So what word would you pick to describe you? If a person's picking you to run their project, what word or noun or adjective would you say is your strong point?
As so I would say that I am great in optimizing things. So making sure that something is happening in the best possible way to maximize the outcome. That's I would think how I would describe myself, sort of, in my professional capacity, right?
Right.
And then if you are asking me what is one word, like a noun or an adjective, to describe me in general as a person, as a human being, well, this is actually, that's funny that you are asking about it, Judy, because this is exactly what I have been asking people. I was recently in Poland visiting my mom, and there was like sort of like a dull moment at the dinner table, and I was bored, and I am like, okay, guys, I have this question, which is exactly that. I said, what is
How would
one
you
word?
describe me?
Yes, or
What
themselves.
do you think of me? Or themselves?
Themselves,
Oh,
actually.
went around the
Themselves,
table.
right?
Oh,
So I
okay.
said a noun or an adjective, right?
Yeah.
And Judy, this is a very, 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 very difficult question.
Yeah.
Because we are so many people. I mean, aren't you a multitask? Hello?
Well,
Hello?
not only are we multi-personalities, we're multi-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually exist on a lot of different levels. People don't even realize that they're multi-dimensional.
Yes.
But we are. We're like even when we're asleep and we're in a whole other, like we don't even know where we were. We wake up and we were like, wow, that dream was incredible. I have a tag on my email that says, don't give up your daydream. Because when we're awake, our minds are creating our reality. This is our daydream, right? And so don't give up your daydream.
Don't give, well put.
Yeah.
Yes.
At night, you have those other dreams, which are fantastic. I love my night dreams.
So how would you describe yourself if you were to?
Gosh, I don't know.
So while you are
I
thinking,
don't know,
so I'll tell you,
lively.
lively, that you
I
are.
don't know.
Well, I mean, you
I'm
again,
so many things.
you were so many things. You are, I mean, you are Jane Fonda of roller skating.
Oh, wow.
This was such a fantastic story to read, by the way.
I can't believe you Googled me. That's so funny.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. You have
Should
to
I
have
Google you? Are you in Google? It's so funny. My husband, way before he even had an iPad and was clueless about anything about the internet, and he'd be online at Starbucks and talking to somebody about something, and he'd say something, and the person would say, well, I don't know, and Michael would say, Google it. And my daughter, realized he was saying that all the time, and she'd say, Dad, stop saying that because they will Google it. And he had no idea what Google
what I
was.
was talking about.
No.
That's funny.
No.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Good Skates International tells the story.
It does.
Yeah,
So that
the
was something.
roller skating has to come back big time. It's so necessary, and I was so thinking that we can produce electricity with magnets, and if we have magnets under the skating floor, just the skaters would generate so much electricity it could power the entire building.
I mean, this is a
Yeah.
thought. So don't
Magnets
give up
are where
on that.
magnets is where it needs to go. Then we don't need batteries. We don't know because magnets never stop that push pull.
So you know
So they
what?
they would keep an engine going forever.
So this could be like roller skating as an Energizer bunny.
We have an ad that we did that says Good Skates, free energy.
Oh, there you have it.
And we did that ad during I think it was 1979 when we were having that gas crisis. People were waiting in line for gas, and so we did this free energy ad. I love that ad. I think there might be a photo of it on the website, the Good Skates International website, because I know there's the proclamation from Central Park, how we got people out of their armchairs and got them roller skating. And there's an article about the rink I did in Sag Harbor, which is where Bay Street is, and I love that article. Anyway, it's
So
nice.
yeah, so you are like the dream builder. You had a dream and you
I
followed
had a dream. I
You had
still
a
have that dream.
Yes.
40 years later,
You
still no one has done the roller ballroom, and it boggles my mind. Because I don't understand why people don't realize that we need roller skating, we need dancing, we need a room for film so we can skate in there or walk in there, plop on a sofa, watch 10 minutes of Yellow Submarine or some cult film, and go back to skating, or a pinball casino where 4 people can sit around a table and play, a game, not for gambling, but a game. I have ideas for games too that people get into and play against themselves. But I don't know. They say if you keep trying to give an idea away and nobody does it, you have to do it yourself. But I'm 76, so I don't know.
Right. If it's to be,
do.
it's up to me. And I think you are going to accomplish that.
Oh,
So
I have
you are another thing is an accomplished dreamer.
I am an accomplished
Bring it here,
I
Judy.
need Mark Cuban. I need to get to Mark Cuban. He's my guy.
Uh-huh.
I know he believes that the future of entertainment is interactive, and it is.
And it is.
People
yes.
need to be really. And what you do makes the client interactive.
That's exactly
with all
right.
of the elements, because when you get architectural drawings, they're completely flat, and you bring it to life.
That's right.
And you advise them in every stage of the process.
That's correct. Yes, I think that's one of the roles, and it's difficult for clients sometimes to, from the drawings. What is very important and very difficult, Judy, to to get a sense of is the sense of scale. Because like you said, the plants are flat. We are our eye is trained to perceive things in 3 dimensions. So it is important by looking at the plants to maybe be taken to a room that's similar in size. Because I have to tell you, not once in my 20 years, I've been doing it in all combined 25 years, right? Never a client would say, oh, this room is exactly like I thought it would be. Because there are very dramatic sort of stages that, and also stages in the process. So when your house is being framed, you know, when the skeleton is done, it's the best way to do it when you have, you know, then you see the skeleton, and you can essentially, by entering your, you know, the house, you can see all the way in the back. Your house appears to be very big. And then the next very dramatic stage is when you installed insulation and drywall.
Oh, you
then
lose
all of
like
a sudden,
that much, right?
you are losing this whole perspective. So
Yeah.
this is like, wow, this room is much smaller than I thought.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, this room is not the shape I thought it would be. So it's never, I have never had a client who would say, this is exactly the way I was imagining it to be. So you see, a lot of that is, like you said, Judy, it's very interactive. It's a lot of what I do is really educating people. And now, speaking of educating, I am totally psyched because I have been serving, you know, limited people, right? And now with
Here
COVID,
in the Hamptons.
here in the Hamptons, but also in Panama and in Poland,
Because of COVID.
Because of COVID. A lot of people are thinking of renovating their homes because we noticed, right? Wow, they could function better.
Now.
It's a home.
It's home.
And it has to function better.
Yeah.
And I need to add another room or another office. So there are literally millions of people. And I am going to be teaching an online course called Nail It.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a new thing for me.
You're
completely.
teaching an online course?
Yes.
When does that start?
That starts January 15th.
Okay.
Yes.
And then what is it, a podcast or what?
No, it's a course. It's an online course.
Like a webinar?
Like a webinar. So it's a.
How do people? They just Google you and
it's
Google you.
Google me. Or you can go to my website.
Okay.
It's www.demazing.com. So it's
amazing.
Amazing. And I'll tell you why I chose the name for my service like that, because my client said, Monika, with my project, I feel as if I were in the maze. I don't know, turn right, turn left, go back, go not. And this is how the name.
Demystify it.
Correct. She said, I need you to navigate, provide navigation.
Yeah.
So it's Demazing. So when you go on my website, Demazing, you can just sign up for the course there.
That should be on the screen under your name when your name comes up, your website and everything.
Yes. So I invite you to, you know, to that. I invite everyone. But this is this is exactly what I teach, because we are so uninformed. There is no unbiased knowledge. Normally you are, you know, when you are looking to do a project, you are directed towards architects or contractors, but
and they take over.
Well, which is not necessarily, it wouldn't be bad if a client were prepared. And it's not even that. It's the clients find architects intimidating, and contractors, you know, like they want to take advantage of them. So there is not enough, you know, confidence in or trust. So I come as an unbiased, neutral voice.
The emissary of the client.
That's right. But while I act for the best good of the client, I am creating a group of like-minded individuals.
Right.
Not a group of
So in the
adversaries.
long run, you save a whole lot of heartache.
Yes.
A whole lot of money, a whole lot of time, and a whole lot of trouble. So
yes.
you're worth your weight in gold, really.
You are not the first person who said that.
I believe it. Yeah.
But it's really it's a wildly complex matter. You know, building a home, and it's so emotional. We need, especially we women, we need place for our emotions. And so I sobbed on my doorstep, you know, when I was renovating my second home, which also adds another dimension, Judy, because it's nice to have someone who can feel what you are feeling.
Yeah.
So you can have the best professional taking care of you, but if they have never gone through what you are going through, there is this piece missing. That's how I felt when I was. I had a car accident. I was hit by the car, and then I had 7 operations.
Oh my God, you were hit. Weren't you hit by a bus?
In Panama. No, but just a young girl who didn't know what she was doing. She was driving a car.
You went down to Panama, and was it your first day there?
Yeah, it was my first day for us to actually start the project of packaging the island development there with my newly acquired husband from eHarmony. Well,
and
not
you got
newly,
hit
because
by
we've
a car, and you had 8 operations.
seven operations, 3 on my leg, 4 here. But what I'm saying, why I'm mentioning that, is because the doctor was fantastic as a professional, but he never had a single bone broken in his body. So he had no idea what I was going through emotionally. So that's what I mean. I have done it for more than 20 years. I have educated my clients in the process of doing this, and I felt it. So I feel, you are in good hands. You feel me.
Do you know what? We're out of time. Again. And we didn't get to talk about literature and all the fun things we were going to talk about. But good that we talked about what you do and what you can do for people out here, and people getting involved in building houses, and everyone's putting on an addition now that the Hamptons is home base.
Correct.
So wonderful to have you, Monika.
Thank you for having me.
And when you get back from Portugal, I want to have you again. Thank you for joining the ladies' room. We are out of time. But remember, ladies, give yourself lots of room for love, room for fun, room to grow, and room to glow. And working with Monika will make you so happy about building your house. Go for it.
Breathe in.